All right. So now that I know for a fact that things are not totally reversed, and in case you had your computer up to a mirror so that you could pay attention, or perhaps you were Googling and just listening, which would have really helped you because I was writing backwards the whole time. Let's just go over, we'll do a refresher course. All right. So our first Boolean search operators are and, or, minus sign. All right. So if you're looking for something specific, these three can really help you. And then we added file type in URL in title. Did we add any more? No, those are good. Oh, quotes. All right. So if you know these search operators, you could totally save yourself time and frustration searching for things. And this is Google, Yahoo. For the most part, all search engines understand Boolean operators. But after this, I'm going to add special operators for Gmail, for Twitter, and for Facebook. So we'll just do this little recap first, since we just went through this. Anytime you search for two words that need to be together, like someone's name, Dan Morris, put them in quotes. Quote Dan space Morris. All right? Especially if you're looking for your own name, like your own thing. Because, you know, there's a lot of other people out there. There are obituaries that will have Dan Reinhold died yesterday and Sid Morris died today. And so that will become a search result because Dan and Morris are on the same page. But what you want is use quotes to make sure that Dan and Morris are always together. All right? Now, if you want to look up my resume, which I don't think I've ever had, well, I mean, I haven't had for like a decade, but you would want to put Dan Morris in quotes. You wouldn't want to put Dan Morris resume in quotes because I have a feeling that I don't know who puts that out there, maybe somebody. But you want Dan Morris in quotes, and then you want to use the word and in all caps and the word resume, because that means that Dan Morris together and the word resume have to be on the page when the search engine brings the results back. So it can't bring back the obituary of Dan Reinhold and Sid Morris, both died in Toledo, Ohio last week, and then just randomly later in a different search result just bring up the word resume. Or it also couldn't bring up monster.com, but in the very first paragraph where it says load your resume up here, and then Dan Jones and Sid Morris are identified as people who loaded up a resume. But Dan Morris and resume might also bring back monster.com if I loaded one up and for some reason it was public. Or is not something I use as often. But if you want to find an interview, for instance, and you remember a couple people that were in it, maybe not everybody, maybe not the title, or you remember a TV show and it's got two people in the show, but you just want to remember the name, then you could do like Joey Tribbiani or Jennifer, what's her name? Whoever that is of Friends, Jennifer and Friends. Maybe you could, so then Google would know if there's an article that has the word Joey in it and Friends, or Jennifer in it and Friends, then it would bring back the search results. I don't use or as often, but the one I use most is minus. Minus I use all the time because I don't like searching for a Christmas present, like for a Razor scooter, and there's 500 scooters. So I do Razor scooter in quotes, and then I start doing minus for the search results. Minus silver, minus neon, minus black. I might add the word blue because I want a blue one. But sometimes the only thing that ever brings back is the new scooter. And I want the old scooter. I don't remember the name of the old scooter, but I don't want the lightning one. So might do like minus lightning. Like get rid of all of those. Help me find the blue Razor scooter that's not the light. Very important. Okay, now, let's say you're looking for Spanish verbs worksheet. You want to hand out to your kids. So you might do Spanish verbs in quotes, if you think those would be together, or Spanish and verbs. And then you might do file type .pdf, because you're looking for something you can print out. Or file type : and no space, doc, because you want a Word doc. You want Spanish verbs, Word doc that you could print, you could manipulate, you could use. So that's how you would do that. The file type is very useful if you're looking for a PDF or a doc or something like that. In URL is also very useful. Our example was, you remember a cookie recipe. All you remember is it had chocolate chips and let's just say it had, what's the name of that herb that's in licorice? I can't think. Let's just say it had cilantro, because that sounds disgusting. But you remember this great chocolate chip recipe. And you know it came from a website that had the word cookies in it, but you don't remember the name of it. So you might put in chocolate chip in quotes and cilantro in URL : no space, cookies. Now that would mean you want a search result that definitely has the words chocolate chip together. It also has, on the page, it has cilantro, which I'm sure would bring back the result immediately. And then you want, because you know that the word cookies was in the title of the website. So you knew it was in the HTTP part, the URL. So if you strung those together, I'm almost guaranteeing you that you will find the result. And if for some other reason, there is actually a chocolate chip cookie recipe with cilantro in it, you could use minus to get rid of other things that pop up, like minus Macy's. Like maybe Macy's has this famous chocolate chip cookie recipe, and every single result is the copycat Macy's recipe. And you're like, oh, I know it had cookies in the name, but it wasn't the Macy's one, so minus Macy's. So those together will help you find that. And then title is seldom used, but if you look at the top of your screen right now, in the very top left, there is the title of the page that you're on. It might say Zoom, but that's not always the URL. Sometimes it's just the title. So if you remember what's in the title, which I never do, in title, no space, will help you get that. I'm going to make these. I'm not sure you can see those. Okay. So we've got quotes and or minus file type in URL in title. Those should help you like find anything you ever want. Minus is my absolute favorite. I just love minus. If you're looking up for a present or something and you know it's a scooter, oh wait, here's another one. You want a sweatshirt. You want a lacrosse sweatshirt for your son who's in lacrosse. So you might do minus women's, minus girls. Then all those results go away. So now you're just looking at it. And then you might do and medium, because you know you want size medium, right? So that could really help you narrow down your exact search. And then you could also do and a $, and it would bring back things for sale. Okay, so that is the Google Boolean Search Operators. All right, now let's learn some new ones. How does this is what happens. Why is it dry erase if it's got to be wet? Okay, now, if you use Gmail, this might work actually in Hotmail or some other mail. There's a search bar at the top. You can search for from Dan at lettersfromdan.com. You could search for an email that you sent to Dan@lettersfromdan.com. You could search for an email when you know the subject line has the word important in it. You want subject important, you can search for that. You can also search for from Dan@lettersfromdan.com space subject important to help you get you there even closer. You could also add has attachment. So you're looking for an email that has an attachment. You could do that. You could look for an email that has a YouTube video in it. Has YouTube video embedded in the email. You could look for, I do this quite often. I do in and then colon, and then I put anywhere. If I want to find an email anywhere, or in colon sent, if I want to find it in the sent file, in colon drafts, in colon inbox, in colon favorites, if you have a folder called favorites. So in colon trash, I do that sometimes because Rachel will tell you I delete things way too much. You can also add after and before. So you want an email in trash to Dan Morris that was sent after 11/1/18. You don't want anything before that, right? These are all search, what do they call them? I can't think of the name. Search, I said at the beginning, I just slipped my mind. These are all different things you can put into the search bar that will help you narrow down your search even more. Or does that make sense? Okay, now. Facebook has something called Open Graph. Facebook is not like the rest. Facebook has decided that they want to create this huge, this gigantic weave of information. It's all woven together. So they want you to search with real sentences that have important information. So for instance, one of them that we use quite often is, my friends. You have to be logged in to say this, to search this. Who live in Idaho. Right? If you type that into the Facebook search bar, then it will bring back all of the friends that you know live in Idaho. This is very useful when you travel. So you travel to Pocatello, Idaho, and you're like, oh, I wonder who I could meet up with when I'm there. My friends who live in Idaho. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the search people at Facebook, they mess with it all the time. So sometimes this doesn't work. I don't know why. 99% of the time it works great. But sometimes they turn it off. They're like, I don't know what they do. So we have found a way around that. This is going to sound sneaky, but it's just so that you can make it work. If you go into your settings and where you can see, like, where it asks you where you live, you know, like in your profile it says like lives in Phoenix or whatever. If you change that to the city that you're traveling to, now you can not have it show up on your profile or in your timeline. Like it asks you, do you want this to change to show up? You just put no, because you didn't move. You're just testing something. So if you change your city to, let's just say Nampa, Idaho. Now, you press enter, save, whatever. Now you go back to your friends list, and there's a drop down above your friends list. And one of the drop downs is current city. So you can sort your friends by current city. Now, if your current city is Nampa, then it will find everyone who also lives in Nampa. So that's another way that you could figure out Like if you're traveling, who lives where you're about to go, so you could send them an email and say, hey, I'm in town, let's have lunch, that kind of thing. So Facebook's Open Graph is sentences that have pertinent information, like my friends who live in. If you start typing my friends who, then the dropdown will give you lots of other sentences that you can use, that you can search for that. Now, I thought I would tell you one thing interesting about Twitter. Twitter uses pretty much Boolean search, like we did at the beginning, except they have, like the @ sign, so you can search for hashtags and the @ sign. But there is something kind of cool that you might be able to use. Do you ever see, you go to the gas station and it says, send a text to 72845 and start getting our text updates to get like daily discounts or something like that? Well, Twitter is that service. Like Twitter, you can use Twitter like that. So you could create an absolutely new Twitter account. Absolutely, just brand new. Let's just say you call it Spanish verbs. I think it's still wet. Spanish verbs is taken, so you're going to call it Span Verbs. This is your new Twitter account, right? Spanish Verbs. And you're going to tell people, hey, if you would like to get a new Spanish verb of the day every day, then I want you to send a text to 40404 with the message follow @span verbs. Why is that the case? Why does the dry erase marker die? Let's try this one. That doesn't matter. @span verbs. Did we try the green one? Was it useless? It was useless. Now, they texted this from their phone. A text to 40404 with the message follow @span verbs. Now, all you have to do is log into Twitter once a day and tweet a new verb, whatever it is you want to tweet. And that verb will automatically go as a text to everybody who did this. It has nothing to do with Boolean search, but it's a pretty cool little hack for Twitter. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. I think if you teach your students that, teach your kids that, and teach them how to use the search engines, they'll get really, really good, especially with research papers, saving time on the job, working for a company. Like if you understand the language of the search engines, then you'll really be good at searching for things. Hope you enjoyed that. Look forward to talking to you guys soon.